Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Aditi Lumba with the evening news. The headlines. COVID-19 vaccination opens for everyone above 45 years of age from tomorrow. Experts appeal to citizens to get vaccinated without any hesitancy. Centre reviews COVID-19 vaccination drive and preparations with states and union territories, asks them to maintain vaccine wastage at less than 1%. 8 states reporting over 84% surge in daily new cases of COVID-19, says government. Voting for second phase of assembly elections in Assam and West Bengal tomorrow. Campaigning intensifies for elections in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry as well as for third phase in West Bengal and Assam. Cabinet approves investment of 10,900 crore rupees in food processing industry under production-linked incentive scheme. India and Tajikistan agree to further enhance economic partnership. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Tajikistan counterpart Sirojiddin Muhriddin hold talks on bilateral cooperation in Dushanbe. CBI court in Gujarat drops case against 3 remaining accused police officers in Ishrat Jahan encounter case. World Bank predicts India's real GDP growth for fiscal year 2021-22 to range from 7.5 to 12.5%. Domestic LPG price reduced across the country. Indian skipper Virat Kohli retains top spot in ICC ODI rankings. And in tennis, world number 1 Ashley Barty to take on 5th seed Elina Svitolina in women's singles semi-final of Miami Open in Florida tomorrow. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, follow all precautions, and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The COVID-19 vaccination will be open for everyone aged above 45 years irrespective of comorbidity from tomorrow. Our correspondent reports the cut-off date for the 45-plus years category is those persons born before 1st January 1977. We have a report.
All persons above 45 years and can register themselves in the CoWIN system for booking of appointment for vaccination. On-site registration of such persons will also be permissible. People can go to their nearest vaccination center after 3 p.m. for on-site registration with any identity document. If a beneficiary has taken an online appointment for vaccination on CoWIN, then there is no need to take any further appointment at private or public hospitals. If any hospital does not follow these guidelines of vaccination, then one must lodge a complaint at toll-free number 1075. Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
Experts have appealed to citizens to get vaccinated without any hesitancy. Niti Aayog member and chairman of National COVID-19 Task Force, Dr. V.K. Paul, has appealed to people above 45 years of age to get vaccinated without hesitation.
कोई भी व्यक्ति जो 45 का है, 45 से ज्यादा का है, वो टीकाकरण को अपनाए। तो ये इतनी बड़ी जनसंख्या हमारे देश की टीकाकरण के लिए चिन्हित हो गई है, तो उनको अब आगे आके सरकार के अस्पतालों से या प्राइवेट के हॉस्पिटल से अपना टीकाकरण करवाना है। जो जनमानस की जिम्मेवारियों की बात कर रहे थे, अब उसमें ये जिम्मेवारी भी जुड़ गई है। कोई भी वजह नहीं कि आप टीका नहीं लगवाएं। सेफ हैं टीके, आपकी जान बचा सकते हैं, आपकी बीमारी सीरियस ना हो, ये बचा सकते हैं।
The centre has asked the states and union territories to maintain vaccine wastage at less than 1%. The states have also been directed to ensure timely utilization of available stocks to avoid expiry of vaccines. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan today held a review meeting with all states and union territories on the COVID-19 vaccination drive and preparations. The meeting focused on the identification of low vaccine coverage pockets, particularly in districts showing COVID surge, and for taking corrective actions there. In the meeting, Chairperson Empowered Group on COVID vaccination, Dr. R.S. Sharma assured that there is no problem in the storage and logistics of vaccines. He reiterated that there is no value in conserving vaccines for the second dose and states must promptly supply vaccines to all government and private hospitals.
8 states, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Punjab and Madhya Pradesh have reported a surge in the COVID-19 daily new cases. 84.73% of the new cases are reported from these 8 states. More than 53,000 new cases have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative positive cases to over 1 crore 21 lakh. The Health Ministry said 354 deaths reported in the last 24 hours, taking the toll to over 1,62,000 across the country. More than 6 crore 30 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered in the country so far. The fresh guidelines issued by the Union Home Ministry for effective control of COVID-19 will come into effect from tomorrow and will remain in force up to 30th of April. The main focus of the guidelines is to consolidate the substantial gains achieved in containing the spread of COVID-19, which was visible in the sustained decline in the number of active cases continuously for about 5 months. We have a report.
As per the guidelines, state and UT governments will take all necessary measures to promote COVID-19 appropriate behavior in workplaces and in public, especially in crowded places. States and UTs may consider administrative actions, including imposition of appropriate fines. States, based on their assessment of the situation, may impose local restrictions at district, sub-district, city or ward level with a view to contain the spread of COVID-19. There shall be no restriction on interstate or intrastate movement of persons and goods. All activities have been permitted outside containment zones and SOPs have been prescribed for various activities including movement by passenger trains, air travel, metro trains, schools, shopping malls and yoga centers. With Anand Kumar, Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
In Delhi, random testing of COVID-19 for passengers arriving in the national capital from states where cases are increasing has begun at the city airport from today. The Delhi International Airport Limited, DIAL, has informed that the travellers would be allowed to exit the airport after collection of the samples. However, passengers who will be found COVID-19 positive at arrival will have to mandatorily quarantine as per the protocols of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare.
The National Junior Women's Hockey Championship, scheduled to begin from the 3rd of April in Simdega district of Jharkhand, has been postponed until further announcement after 11 players and a coach tested COVID-19 positive. 6 players and 1 coach of Hockey Jharkhand team and 5 players of Hockey Chandigarh team have been detected COVID positive. All other participating teams have been advised to return home following the COVID-19 protocols. In Sikkim, the 3rd municipality election concluded peacefully this evening. According to official sources, the state recorded approximately 72% of voting for 7 urban local bodies. Over 82,000 voters to cast their votes across 90 polling stations. Our district correspondents reported that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, people turned out in large numbers to exercise their franchise. The 7 local bodies that went to polls are Gangtok Municipal Corporation, Singtam Nagar Panchayat, Rongpu Nagar Panchayat, Namchi Nagar Parishad, Naya Bazar Jorthang Panchayat, Gazing Nagar Panchayat and Mangan Nagar Panchayat. Sikkim Governor Ganga Prasad cast his vote at the White Memorial Hall polling booth. There are a total of 51 municipal wards in the state, out of which polling was held for 40 wards, as candidates from 11 wards of the state have been elected unopposed. Today's polling sealed the fate of 151 candidates. Our correspondent reports that the administration made adequate security arrangements to ensure fair and peaceful polling.
It is for the first time in Sikkim's history that non-party-based election was held for the local bodies in the state. This became possible after the State Legislative Assembly amended Sikkim Municipality Act 2007 by inserting a new section 14A in the Municipality Act, which does not allow any support to candidates from any party, directly or indirectly. The counting of votes will be held on 3rd of April. The tenure of present municipal bodies ended on 16th of October, but the election was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With Siket Dorji and Pankaj Jungel, Parijat Sharma from Gangtok for AIR.
The Union Cabinet has approved an investment of 10,900 crore rupees in the food processing industry under the Production Linked Incentive PLI scheme. The objective of Production Linked Incentive Scheme for food processing industry is to support a creation of global food manufacturing champions commensurate with India's natural resource endowment and support Indian brands of food products in the international markets. This announcement was made by the Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar and Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal after the cabinet meeting in New Delhi today. Mr. Javadekar said the decision will help in increasing farmers' income and open better avenues for them.
आज फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री के लिए पीएलआई की घोषणा हुई। मूल मुद्दा यह है कि भारत का खाद्य संस्कृति भी बहुत रिच है, लेकिन भारत का ब्रांड बिल्ड नहीं हुआ। तो दुनिया में भारत का ब्रांड बने, विदेशी और हमारा निवेश भी ज्यादा हो, उसके साथ साथ एक रोजगार की नई संभावनाएं बहुत तैयार हो और मूल किसानों को लाभकारी मूल्य मिले।
Voting for the second phase of assembly elections in Assam and West Bengal will be held tomorrow. All necessary arrangements have been made in the two states for the polling tomorrow. In Assam, 345 candidates, including 26 women, are in the fray for 39 assembly constituencies spread over 13 districts that will go to polls tomorrow. Over 73.44 lakh voters, including 36.09 lakh women and 135 third-gender persons, will decide the fate of these candidates. Chief Electoral Officer of Assam, Nitin Khare, has said that all preparations are in place to ensure free and fair polling tomorrow. Talking to AIR correspondent, Mr. Khare said all required facilities would be available for voters. He urged voters to come out and exercise their democratic rights.
जो प्रिपरेशन है वो टोटली कंप्लीट हो चुका है। हमारी जो पोलिंग पार्टीज है, पुलिस पार्टीज है, वो डिस्पैच हो चुकी है और बाकी जो सारे इंतजाम वहाँ करने हैं वो सारे हो गए हैं। हमारे वोटर्स के लिए हमने वहाँ पूरी सुविधा की है और बाकी जो इंतजाम करने चाहिए कोविड प्रोटोकॉल के हिसाब से वोटर के सेफ्टी के लिए वो हमने पूरी तरह से किए हुए हैं।
We are now joined by our Guwahati correspondent Manas Pratim Sharma. We go over live. Manas, what preparations have been made for the polling in view of the COVID-19 situation?
Well, all COVID protocols to be followed, as you mentioned, and the Chief Electoral Officer has said. There will be sanitizers, there will be hand gloves for all the voters, masks have been made mandatory, there will be restroom if required, and the COVID protocols, the social distancing would be there, and all the voters will have to undergo throat thermal screening. PP kit would be given to polling personnel for the last hour. So all protocols will be followed regarding COVID. Apart from the COVID issue, all security measures have been put in place that include webcasting in 50% polling stations, deployment of micro observers, armed forces at critical polling stations, and along with all these things, VVPAT system will be available along with the braille signage for the visually impaired voters tomorrow. Back to you.
Right, Manas. Could you outline for our listeners who are the heavyweights in the fray in this phase?
Right. As you mentioned earlier, Valsa, there would be 345 candidates in this phase. There are several ministers who are contesting in this phase. To name a few of them, Parimal Suklabaidya, he is from Barak Valley. Ex-Congress Minister Gautam Rai, he joined BJP. And then from Lower Assam, the Bhavesh Kalija, Piyush Hazarika. For Congress, former Minister Siddiq Ahmed. Current BJP Minister who joined Congress, Sum Ronghang. For BPF, Senior BPF Leader and Minister Rihan Demari. For AIUDF, the brother of Badruddin Ajmal, who is the chief of AIUDF, former MP Siazuddin Ajmal, to name a few. There are several heavyweight candidates whose political fate will be decided, not decided, will be locked in division tomorrow. Back to you.
Right, thank you, Manas, for all those details. We'll be back with you tomorrow. In West Bengal, 30 seats spread over 4 districts will go to polls in this phase. Polling will be held on 9 seats each in East and West Mednipur, 8 seats in Bankura and 4 seats in South 24 Parganas. The state is witnessing 8-phase election this time. Over 75 lakh and 94 electors will decide the fate of 171 candidates, including heavyweights in the second phase. We now go over live to our Kolkata correspondent, Madhuparna Dhar Chaudhary. Madhuparna, tell us about the prominent candidates whose fate will be sealed in this phase.
Yes, Valsa, as we see, in Nondigram seat, Chief Minister and TMC Supremo Mamata Banerjee and her former Cabinet Minister and now BJP leader Shubhendu Adhikari, they are in direct concentration. And apart from that, in Debra seat, which is in Paschim Medinipur, that is West Midnapur, two former IPS officers, Bharati Ghosh of the BJP and Humayun Kabir of the TMK, they are also contesting against each other. Apart from that, State Ministers Monturam Pakhira, he is contesting from Kadip, Shomen Mahapatra, he is contesting from Tomluk, and former Minister Manoj Bhuiya, he is contesting from Shobong seat. And we can also see three film stars, three actors, Shoham Chakraborty, he is contesting from Chandipur, and Shayantika Banerjee, she is contesting from Bankura. Both are from TMC's ticket, and while Hiranmoy Chatterjee, who is known as Hiran, he is contesting from Kharagpur Sodor. Another former cricketer, Ashok Dinda, he is contesting from Moyna seat on BJP's ticket. Valsa?
Right, Madhuparna. So tell us what the arrangements that are being made to ensure free and fair polling tomorrow.
Actually, Valsa, if you see, this time assembly elections in West Bengal are being held amid unprecedented security. Total 651 companies of central forces have been deployed for 30 constituencies. And out of that, 210 companies for West Medinipur and 199 companies in East Medinipur. Out of that, 20 companies of CRPF Jawans, they have been deployed only for Nondigram. And apart from the central forces, there are 100% of booths have been declared in Nondigram as sensitive, and 8 Jawans of central forces, they will be manning each booth. Apart from that, 20 quick response teams are in place because Nondigram, it is, as we all know, it is at the center of attraction right from the day one and up to tomorrow, when it will be the acid test not only for the heavyweight candidates and political parties but also for the election commission. And if I may mention, 2 IPS officers, they have been given special charge in East Medinipur district, one at Holdia and the other one at Nondigram.
Right.
And since morning, Naka checking is going on, no outsiders allowed. From evening, ferry ghats are completely closed, and Section 144, it has been imposed all over Nondigram.
Right, right, Madhuparna. Thank you for all those details.
The election campaign is heating up for the third phase in both these states and also for the single-phase elections in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry. Third phase polling in these two states will be held on 6th of April. The single-phase polling in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, along with the Union Territory of Puducherry, will also be held on 6th of the next month. Besides, the by-polls will be conducted simultaneously for Kanyakumari Lok Sabha seat in Tamil Nadu and also for Mallappuram seat in Kerala. In Tamil Nadu, a total of 3,998 candidates are in the fray for the 234 assembly constituencies. More from our correspondent.
On the election front in Tamil Nadu, various political leaders are involved in intensified election campaigns in the state. Star campaigners of all the parties and their grassroots level workers are busily involved in the process. Senior BJP leader and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who campaigned for his party's Coimbatore South candidate, said that the NDA is the only alliance which can provide development for the state. DMK Chief M.K. Stalin accused the AIADMK of spreading false information about his party and gave assurance about the development schemes that would be implemented if elected. The senior BJP leader and the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh garnered votes for the candidate of the alliance in the Nilgiri district, assuring an IT park at Ooty to create jobs for the youngsters. Mr. Dinesh Gundurao, who is in charge of the Tamil Nadu Congress Committee, told the media in Nagarkoil that the people of the state have started losing hope in the AIADMK and the BJP combined. With Joy R. Murthy, AIR News, Chennai.
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. COVID-19 vaccination opens for everyone above 45 years of age from tomorrow. Experts appeal to citizens to get vaccinated without any hesitancy. Centre reviews COVID-19 vaccination drive and preparations with states and union territories, asks them to maintain vaccine wastage at less than 1%. 8 states reporting over 84% surge in daily new cases of COVID-19, says government. Voting for second phase of assembly elections in Assam and West Bengal tomorrow. Campaigning intensifies for elections in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, as well as for third phase in West Bengal and Assam. Cabinet approves investment of 10,900 crore rupees in food processing industry under production-linked incentive scheme. India and Tajikistan agreed to further enhance economic partnership. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Tajikistan counterpart Sirojuddin Muhiddin hold talks on bilateral cooperation in Dushanbe. CBI court in Gujarat drops case against 3 remaining accused police officers in Ishrat Jahan encounter case. World Bank predicts India's real GDP growth for fiscal year 2021 and 22 to range from 7.5 to 12.5%. Domestic LPG price reduced across the country. Indian skipper Virat Kohli retains top spot in ICC ODI rankings. And in tennis, world number 1 Ashley Barty to take on 5th seed Elina Svitolina in women's singles semi-finals of Miami Open in Florida tomorrow. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to the evening news. India and Tajikistan have agreed to focus on further enhancing economic partnership. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today held talks with his Tajik counterpart Sirojuddin Muhiddin in Dushanbe on all aspects of the bilateral agenda, including development cooperation. They also exchanged views on regional and international issues of interest. The government has made mandatory that a GST taxpayer having turnover of more than 5 crore rupees in the preceding financial year will have to furnish 6 digits harmonized system of nomenclature HSN code or Service Accounting Code SAC from tomorrow on the invoices issued for supplies of taxable goods and services. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had announced some changes in the income tax rules presenting Union Budget 2021-22, which are set to come into force from tomorrow. A report from our business desk.
With start of new financial year from tomorrow, senior citizens of age 75 and above with income from pension and interest from fixed deposit in the same bank would be exempted from filing income tax return ITR. From tomorrow, interest earned on Provident Fund contribution above 5 lakh rupees in a year will be taxable. To ease the filing of returns and to facilitate taxpayers, it had been announced that in the fiscal year 2021-22, the individual taxpayers will be given pre-filled ITR forms. In order to ease compliance for the taxpayer, details of salary income, tax payments and TDS already come pre-filled in income tax returns. To further ease filing of returns, details of capital gains from listed securities, dividend income and interest from banks and post office will also be pre-filled. No doubt these steps will boost revenue along with ease in filing of returns, leading to better tax compliance. With Sanjeev Kumar Singh's report, this is Anita Anand for AIR News, Delhi.
The World Bank has raised Indian GDP growth prediction for 2021 and 22 fiscal to 10.1% from 5.4% projected in January. The International Bank said, given the significant uncertainty amid COVID-19 effects on the economy, the real Indian GDP growth could be in the range from 7.5% to 12.5%. The World Bank, in its South Asia Economic Focus Spring Update report, said that it has revised the projection amid a strong rebound in private consumption and investment growth. The price of domestic LPG cylinder has been reduced across the country. In Delhi, it will be cheaper by 10 rupees per cylinder. Now, an LPG cylinder will cost 809 rupees in Delhi. The new rate will be effective from tomorrow. Indian Oil Corporation said that the same reduction has been carried out in other parts of the country also.
The government today extended the last date for linking of Aadhaar number with PAN up to the 30th of June this year in view of the difficulties arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The deadline to link PAN with Aadhaar was ending today. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, today extended the deadline to process recurring online transactions with additional factor of authentication, AFA, to the 30th of September this year from the last date fixed for today. The RBI said to prevent any inconvenience to the customers, it has decided to extend the timeline for the stakeholders to migrate to the framework by 6 months.
A special CBI court at Ahmedabad in Gujarat today dropped the case against the 3 remaining accused police officers in the 2004 Ishrat Jahan encounter case. These police officers are Inspector General of Police G.L. Singhal, retired Deputy Superintendent of Police Tarun Barot, and Assistant Sub-Inspector Anaju Chaudhary. While granting relief to the accused officers, CBI Special Judge Vipul Rawal observed that Ishrat and 3 others who killed in the encounter were prima facie terrorists. With this, all 7 accused Gujarat policemen have been dropped from the proceeding without trial. Jammu and Kashmir Director General of Police Dilbagh Singh has sanctioned retirement gift of over 1.60 crore rupees in favour of 219 personnel of Jammu and Kashmir Police who are retiring today as a token of appreciation for their services. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that a retirement gift of 75,000 rupees is being given to each personnel from the Contributory Police Welfare Fund. These personnel belonging to different ranks, units and wings of the police department.
Team India captain Virat Kohli has retained his top spot in the ICC rankings for ODI batsmen released today. Rohit Sharma has been ranked 3rd behind Pakistan's Babar Azam. In the bowlers list, Indian pacer Jasprit Bumrah has slipped a place to 4th. He has 690 points. Another pacer Bhuvneshwar Kumar has gained 9 slots to reach the 11th position. In tennis, world number 1 Ashley Barty will take on 5th seed Elina Svitolina in the women's singles semi-final of Miami Open at Florida in the US tomorrow. Australia's Barty defeated 7th seeded Arina Sabalenka of Belarus in the quarterfinal 6-4, 6-7, 6-3 to sail into the last 4. She is now just 1 win away from retaining her world number 1 ranking. In the remaining women's singles quarterfinal matches, Greek player Maria Sakkari will take on Naomi Osaka from Japan, while Canadian player Bianca Andreescu will face Sara Sorribes-Tormo from Spain. In men's singles, Russian top seed Daniil Medvedev will clash with Spanish player Bautista Agut, while Italian player Yannick Sinner will face Alexander Bublik from Kazakhstan in the quarterfinals.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is likely to have strong surface winds during daytime. The temperature will hover between 18 and 35 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 21 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be around 32 degrees. Chennai is expected to have mainly clear sky. The temperature will vary between 27 and 41 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, will have mainly clear sky. The city will observe minimum temperature of 27 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 38 degrees. Srinagar will witness mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 21 and 7 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 15 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 34 degrees. Leh will have mainly clear sky. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 8 and 25 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 11 and 30 degrees Celsius.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. COVID-19 vaccination opens for everyone above 45 years of age from tomorrow. Experts appeal to citizens to get vaccinated without any hesitancy. Centre reviews COVID-19 vaccination drive and preparations with states and union territories, asks them to maintain vaccine wastage at less than 1%. 8 states reporting over 84% surge in daily new cases of COVID-19, says government. Voting for second phase of assembly elections in Assam and West Bengal tomorrow. Campaigning intensifies for elections in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, as well as for third phase in West Bengal and Assam. Cabinet approves investment of 10,900 crore rupees in food processing industry under production-linked incentive scheme. India and Tajikistan agree to further enhance economic partnership. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Tajikistan counterpart Sirojiddin Muhyiddin hold talks on bilateral cooperation in Dushanbe. CBI court in Gujarat drops case against 3 remaining accused police officers in Ishrat Jahan encounter case. World Bank predicts India's real GDP growth for fiscal year 2021-22 to range from 7.5 to 12.5%. Domestic LPG price reduced across the country. Indian skipper Virat Kohli retains top spot in ICC ODI rankings. And in tennis, world number 1 Ashley Barty to take on 5th seed Elina Svitolina in women's singles semi-final of Miami Open in Florida tomorrow. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.